The Chinese government announced it will impose 10 to 15% tariff on agricultural products from the United States. U.S. President Donald Trump temporarily suspended military aid to Ukraine until Zelensky commits to peace negotiations. And in Australia, authorities warn Queensland residents of a cyclone approaching the coast in the next few days. Hello and welcome to From the South, from the headquarters of teleSUR English in Havana, Cuba. My name is Pablo Micheliche. We begin with the news. The Chinese government will impose 10 to 15% tariff on agricultural products from the United States. The Chinese Ministry of Finance decided to impose a 15% ban on U.S. imports of chicken, corn and wheat, as well as a 10% tax on imports of pork, beef, soybeans, aquatic commodities, fruit and dairy products. Likewise, China's Ministry of Commerce announced adding a group of U.S. companies to its export control list, while taking a U.S. corporation to its list of unreliable entities. The latter will be analyzed as a case to be presented before the World Trade Organization. In this context, a spokesperson for the Ministry of Commerce ensured the Trump government does not respect the rules of international trade, as it has imposed 20% levies of Chinese imports as of Tuesday. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced that he will impose tariff of 25% on the United States in retaliation to the ones applied by the Donald Trump administration. Through a press release, Trudeau explained that the measures will be applied as of March 4, with tariff of 25% against $155 billion of American products. The Prime Minister urged the U.S. administration to reconsider its tariff and said that Canada will stand firm in defense of its economy, its jobs, and a fair deal. Trudeau also stated that he is in talks with Canadian provinces and territories to apply various non-tariff measures to the United States. Now in China, the annual political meeting known as the Two Sessions has started, a key political event that sets the direction of the country's policies and will be attended by the top leaders, including President Xi Jinping. As they do every March, the National People's Assembly and the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference are meeting to discuss and approve policies. Among the key issues to be addressed this year is the target for gross domestic product growth, which is set to reach 5% by 2024. The two sessions serve as a critical window to consider the Asian giant's development plan for the coming year. The decision and announcement made during the meeting will not only affect the life of 1.4 billion Chinese, but will have an impact beyond the country's borders. U.S. President Donald Trump temporarily suspended military aid to Ukraine until his Ukrainian counterpart, Volodymyr Zelensky, commits to peace negotiations. Local media reported that the president met with his cabinet to take several measures against the Kiev regime, which included the suspension of all military assistance to the country. This follows President Trump's statement that Ukraine must become more committed to peace. This also follows a meeting between the two leaders in Washington, in which the U.S. leader concealed the signing of the rare earth agreement with Zelensky, stressing that the Ukrainian president will not be welcome back at the White House for what he described as a lack of gratitude for U.S. assistance and his disrespectful behavior in the Oval Office. We go now to Spain. Following a collision between two buses on Barcelona's Avenida Diagonal, 51 people were injured and 4 are in critical condition, among them a 17-year-old minor. The bus that caused the collision was carrying Italian students, while the other bus carried tourists of different nationalities who were on a cruise ship in the port of Barcelona. The cruise ship guide and 2 crew members were seriously injured and a passerby was run over. All of the injured were taken to hospital for treatment, and the causes of the accident are yet unknown. And now we have a short break coming up, but first remember you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you will find news in different formats, news update and much more. We'll be right back, stay with us. Welcome back. In Australia, authorities warn Queensland residents of a cyclone approaching the coast in the next few days. According to the Australian Bureau of Meteorology, tropical cyclone Alfred, with sustained winds of 95 km per hour, is expected to make landfall north of Brisbane on Thursday night or Friday morning. Queensland Premier David Crisafulli has urged residents to be responsible in the face of the cyclone's threat. In a related development, hundreds of residents in Brisbane and surrounding towns bought sandbags in anticipation of possible flooding. We go now to Indonesia. Heavy rains have caused the Siliwund River to overflow its banks, causing heavy flooding that has forced the evacuation of more than 1,200 residents of South and East Jakarta. Muhammad Johan, head of the Data and Information Center of BPBD Jakarta, reported that there are 11 evacuated sites from 4 sub-districts. Prepared food boxes, children items, bottled water, blankets and family kits have been provided at evacuation centers. On the other hand, flooding has occurred in 224 households in Rawajati, with water levels varying from 50 centimeters to 1.5 meters. He also assured that critical resources for the affected residents remained sufficient. And in Japan, nearly 5,000 acres have been burned by the forest fires that broke out a week ago in the city of Ofunato, where 1 person is reported dead and 84 homes and buildings have been affected. Some 90 firefighters from Iwate Prefecture itself, where the city is located, and 2,016 personnel from 542 fire departments in the rest of the country are working to extinguish the blaze. Air and ground efforts have been on the way with 19 helicopters, including 10 from the self-defense forces, continuing to spray water as the fire and smoke spread over the mountain and the town for a 7th day. More than 1,150 homes and 800 houses have been affected by water and power cuts, and an evacuation order remains in place for some 4,600 residents of the area. Egypt will present a Gaza reconstruction plan at the Arab League Extraordinary Summit in Cairo. The summit is called to elaborate a joint plan for the reconstruction of the Gaza Strip that will guarantee the permanence of the Palestinians in their land. Egypt will subsequently seek international support and funding for the plan and stressed the crucial role of Europe, particularly in funding the reconstruction of Gaza. The Arab countries have publicly rejected Trump's plan for the United States to take control of Gaza and relocate the Palestinians to Egypt and Jordan. Early Tuesday morning, a young Palestinian man was killed by the Israeli army during a new assault on the occupied West Bank city of Jenin. Special forces infiltrated the Al Ghul building in the eastern neighborhood of Jenin and shot Jihad al-Awad, wounding him with live bullets in the thigh and leaving him to bleed to death. Earlier, Israeli armored military vehicles stormed the city as part of the ongoing massive incursion that has now been on the way for 43 days and has claimed the life of at least 27 Palestinians in Jenin and its refugee camp. Meanwhile, Zionist forces also shot and wounded at least 4 other Palestinians. Now in Kenya, the police repressed thousands of people from the Kakuma refugee camp who protested to demand immediate measures due to food and water shortages. As a result of the clashes, at least 4 people were wounded by bullets. The protests follow recent decreases in humanitarian aid, mainly due to reductions in funding from the United States Agency for International Development, the USAID. The Kakuma Refugee Center has become home to more than 200,000 people, hosting neighbors from South Sudan, Ethiopia, Democratic Republic of the Congo, and Somalia. Singaporean authorities investigate alleged embezzlement of NVIDIA artificial intelligence chips. Local authorities indicated that the servers involved in a fraud may have been sent to Malaysia, according to Justice Minister K. Shanmugam, although it has not been confirmed whether Malaysia was the final location of the devices. It is believed that a false statement was made about the destination of the servers. These devices, subject to export restriction by the US, will have been transported to Malaysia. And we go for a second short break. Before, we invite you to visit our Facebook page at teleSUR English. There you will be able to rewatch our stories, top stories, special live coverage, and much more. Follow our page and activate the notification bell to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. Financial break. Stay tuned with teleSUR. Welcome back to From the South. In Colombia, President Gustavo Petro announced that his government will issue a decree on the declaration of internal commotion in Catatumbo in order to eradicate thousands of cocaine crops in the territory. During a meeting of the Council of Ministers, the head of the state announced that the plan is to eliminate approximately 25,000 acres of drug crops in the northeastern part of the country. Petro also explained that in order to carry out this initiative, the peasants community of the region will be paid to voluntarily uproot the plants to prevent their reproduction. More than half of the cocaine crops are located in the municipality of Tibu. Fighting scenes between the armed groups of the National Liberation Army and the 33rd Front.
¿Qué queremos? Erradicar cultivos de hoja de coca. 25,000 hectáreas como objetivo. No lo vamos a hacer por los métodos tradicionales de fumigación.
What do we want? To eradicate coca leaf crops. 25,000 acres as a target. We are not going to do it by traditional fumigation methods. It is prohibited by the Constitution. In my opinion, it is unconstitutional, not only illegal, and we are not going to make a war with the peasantry of Catatumbo, but to look for an alliance with the peasantry of Catatumbo, which is fundamental for Catatumbo to progress and be a peaceful region. The method we are going to use is called payments for voluntary eradication of crops. Crops are not coca leaf. Crops is not cutting the bush leaving the root buried. It does not work. Payment for crop eradication is the whole bush including its roots. It is what prevents it from sprouting again.
Now in Honduras, the Court of Appeal issued a preventive detention to the coup generals implicated in the case of the murder of E.C. Obed Murillo in 2009. In a preliminary hearing, they revoked the measure of house arrest against the ex-military accused of homicide in the context of the coup d'etat of June 28, 2009, against the then-President Manuel Zelaya. The Court of Appeals of Francisco Morazan, by unanimous vote, resolved to declare the appeals filed by the prosecution and the private prosecution to be admissible in the case against retired generals Romeo Vázquez Velázquez and Carlos Roberto Puerto Funes. In the United States, the 97th Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Science Awards 2025 took place on Sunday. Director Sean Baker's Anora won the Oscar for the Best Motion Picture. This independently produced film also won the awards for Best Original Screenplay from its director Sean Baker, Best Leading Actress for the young actress Mickey Madison, and Best Editing, accumulating 5 awards. Anora has been described as a tragic comedy that tells the story of a passionate romance between stripper and sex worker Anora and student Ivan Vanya Sakharov, son of a Russian multimillionaire. Critics of the Seventh Art see the production as a modern Shakespearean drama with a touch of black comedy that unveils the miseries that are lived in the death of the empire. On the other hand, the Brazilian production Ainda Estou Aqui, or I'm Still Here, won the Oscar for Best International Film. The film portrays one of the histories of the crimes of state terrorism committed by the civic military dictatorship of the 1970s in Brazil. It tells the story of the Paiva family and their struggle in the face of the forced disappearance of the father Rubens. Starring Fernanda Torres as Eunice, the film received 3 Oscar nominations, including Best International Film and Best Actress. Director Walter Salles highlights the resilience of women in authoritarian contexts and the connection between the characters' trajectories and national identity. In Peru, the city of Cajamarca is transformed into a vibrant stage where tradition and joy merge with the Carnival 2025 festivities. For more than 5 hours, the inhabitants of Cajamarca participate in parades that dazzle everyone, demonstrating their interest for tradition and enjoyment. In this sense, it is worth mentioning that in this region, the Carnival festivities take place over 5 days, each one with its own theme. This Monday, March 3, is the celebration of the Corso Monday, an emblematic event where delegations parade for more than 10 hours, showing the colorful and cultural richness. However, it is worth noting that this tradition is a reflection of the festive spirit of the nation, where the community comes together to celebrate and enjoy an unforgettable experience. The Carnival of Uruguay is considered the longest in the world because of its extension from January to March and is one of the most important festivities in the country. Historically, the Carnival as a social phenomenon has been a space of resistance and denunciation against power. Different cultural expressions such as candombe or religious celebrations such as Yemayá have in their origin a response against the oppression enforced today. The murgas are all the carnival expression that Uruguay has. It has a very different origin from candombe, but is perhaps the most representative group of this celebration in the South American country. Also, Bolivians celebrate their carnivals with traditional dances such as the Salai, a folk dance born in the city of Cochabamba. Hundreds of dancers showed their skills downtown La Paz on Monday during the Yisca Anata, the later festivity that brings together the city and the countryside. More than 100,000 visitors were expected in the event, which has taken place since 1995. The carnival festivities will last for 5 weeks with 25 cultural, musical and festive activities. And Colombians celebrate the Carnival in the city of Barranquilla along the traditional Via 40 with the participation of more than 110 folkloric groups. With the arrival of the Carnival, Barranquilla's Via 40 becomes a scene of joy and celebration, an event that every year brings together thousands of residents and visitors to enjoy the local talent and the Caribbean culture. The festivities stand out for its colorful and eye-catching costumes, modern rhythms, choreographic displays, and the diverse folkloric expressions of the country. And like this, we have come to the end of this news brief, but remember you can find this and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. You can also join us on social media. We are on Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, my name is Pablo Michelich. Thank you for watching.